Hello and welcome to the Business Show podcast here on Radio Newark 107.8 FM and in collaboration with Newark Business Club. I'm one of your hosts, Simon Gabitas, and I'm joined with Michael Hardy. Michael, how are you?
Hi Simon, I am great. Wonderful to be back in the studio.
Back in the studio. After a couple of months of doing this on video, it is great to be here. Great to be actually able to sit across and see physical people as well. How was your summer?
Summer has been busy, very busy. It's always madness. Two kids, 2 dogs, a wife. Birthdays. I've more birthdays in August than you can shake a stick at. So, I had a brilliant time. Got to get back to work now so I can afford next August.
And, of course, it's actually been quite good weather and we've seen some sunshine as well.
Exactly. How about yours, Simon?
Oh, very good. Thank you very much. Same as you. Kids, the kids are now back at school. Can't believe that we are into September. So, without further ado, what is happening? What is happening on today's show, Michael?
We have got a full packed show today. We're going to start by introducing the one and only Kevin Gutherie, one of our committee members, ex-chairman and all-round good egg of the business community in Newark. We're then going to have our Business Big Show quiz, which Kevin's kindly said he'll join us on. So I'm really looking forward to that. We've then got grants for you. So Will Parkinson has supplied us with more grants for local businesses, which is great. You're going to talk about Who Gives a Book. And we've got patron sponsors with us today, Ellen and Jack from Reflect Recruitment. So we're looking forward to speaking to them.
Lots going on. So I suppose without further ado, we probably need to introduce, as you say, the one and only good egg, as you have just described him, Mr. Kevin Gutherie. Kevin, hello, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Thank you for having me on today.
No, it's good to see you. And as Michael just mentioned then, obviously ex-chair of Newark Business Club as well. So we like to try and keep our chairs on the committee where possible. At the moment, we're kind of blessed because we've got you and Michelle, who was previously a chair as well. But then kind of prior to that, we've had kind of Amy and then until recently James on the committee that have stayed on and kind of shared their experience as well. So I suppose in terms of the business club, it's worth mentioning again, we've had this chat before. I was chatting to a couple of our other patron sponsors just last week in a meeting, and they were talking about how the business club over the last, since its inception, but it's kept evolving. It keeps adding. You've got new chairs that bring on stuff, and one of the things we talked about the other day was actually your walk-on music, which simple as that was, it changed. It changed the way that the meeting felt. I mean, it added some professionalism, I suppose, to it, which is great. But it also allowed people to kind of have a bit of a play around, including yourself, with various music. But that's something that obviously we continue to do today, which I think was a great addition. And of course, it was positive feedback from that patron sponsor about how we keep on trying to evolve. And I guess the podcast is obviously one of those things that we've added and that we want to continue to do. I suppose from our point of view, are you able, I guess you've stayed on the committee and again, it's great to have you on board with us all on the committee. There's 11 of us now. Are you able to give us a bit of an idea on some of the stuff that you get involved with today and some of the support that you provide to the Newark Business Club committee?
I guess because I have a hand in retail now and hospitality, it's an area that I'm really passionate about because we have a lot of money in that sector. So I kind of like to link in the hospitality aspect back into the business club just because it's really important. It's really important for the town. It's really important for the prosperity of the town. And it's important for us as a business that we keep it highlighted and kind of buoyant.
And I guess we talked about the idea of evolving. We've had the action group as long as I can remember. I'm not entirely sure whether it was there at the inception 23 years ago, but it's something obviously, Michael, you chair at the moment. And one of the things that we have kind of added to that is this retail and hospitality element of the action group. And it is something that we do that's very different to other business clubs. We've had this conversation with other business club chairs before where they say, well, how on earth do you have the time to do what you do behind the scenes? The extra stuff that you do. Michael's trying to figure out how he gets the time with some of the work that you do, with some of the lobbying and influence that's going on. I mean, for you sit on a couple of other boards as well, don't you? You sit on the Newark Town you sit on the Town Centre Partnership.
That's
the name? That's the one.
I always struggle with that name.
Acronyms coming out of my ears at the moment. There's lots going on. But it is great because, as an example, at the next Business Club meeting that we've got coming up in September, you're going to be giving us a bit of an update specifically on what's happening in and around the town with a bit of a retail focus.
I think it's really important that people understand what's happening, and there's always this contention over people not understanding or hearing what events are happening. So I think to put that into the business community at the business club is really important. Hopefully that information will get passed on and then get passed on to other people, because there's an awful lot happening in Newark. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of plans and there's a lot of events kind of coming up imminently. So we have to be able to talk about that. We have to be able to highlight them, and hopefully get people there and get some economy going in Newark.
Yeah, definitely. And as Michael and I have chatted about on a whole range of different podcasts, we keep kind of coming back to that kind of collaboration bit. And I think collaboration only happens when people know what's happening, when people are talking. Yeah. And I guess Newark Festival is probably one of those examples, different places. And, you're encouraging other places to be popular and have more people in, because that's going to have a buoyant effect for everyone in the town. And I suppose it does feel positive at the moment. There feels like there's a lot of energy, a lot of people that genuinely care about our town and are trying to do some great things for it.
Newark's an amazing place, and people talk about the closed shops and the lack of economy, but that's the same across the country. That's not just Newark; it's the same the whole way over the UK. But we do put a lot of energy into Newark. The town council put a lot of energy into that, and I know people complain. People will always complain, but we put a lot of energy into that to try and make it as best we can. And it still has a long way to go, and it still has a massive amount of potential in terms of what it does. I quite often sit back and look at the town and go, it's just stunning. It's absolutely stunning, with the castle and the river and a beautiful marketplace and a beautiful wharf that has a really beautiful kind of cafe pub down there.
We can come on to that in a minute. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It just has a lot of potential. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, we mentioned this before, but I've joked that me and Katie spent time before kind of kids travelling around the country trying to find historic market towns, and then we realised that we lived in one. But it is, you're right, it's stunning. So I suppose coming on to you then, let's talk about getting to know you, I suppose, a bit more. So we talked about the kind of different elements of stuff you do from a professional perspective. Yeah. So which way do you want to go around? We talked about the Wharf. We talked about a fantastic little place down at the Wharf. Should we start there?
You can do. So we own Not My Monkey. There's a salon next door owned by my husband Les, and then there's an Airbnb upstairs. We bought the building a couple of years ago. We saw an opportunity. The salon had to move. Then we saw an opportunity to open a coffee shop, which is now developed into a wine bar, which is developed into, it just keeps developing and growing. So we now have entertainment on every weekend. We have events, we have art classes, we have mediumship nights, we have drag bingo coming up. It just grows and grows and grows, but it just gets busier and busier. But
sorry, Kevin. Drag bingo. I can't let you skip past drag bingo.
I thought you were the drag.
That's why I'm raising it.
I'm pretty sure we got you booked.
Just making sure you're reserved that weekend, Michael.
I can be if you want me to be.
October 4th.
Okay.
I've got your wig and everything. No, it's just about bringing something to the town that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And with the drag bingo, Les was really kind of resistant. He was like, I can't believe you're doing this. And I was like, and it's popular.
I've seen some of the comments, and there's people that just jumping out going, I want to be there. I want to go. I want to go. I was like, that's brilliant.
It's crazy, but it's about bringing something to Newark that isn't currently there.
Yeah.
People love a laugh. They love a bit of fun, and we don't do that enough.
Yeah.
So Not My Monkey, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring fun elements in and give people a safe space to go and just be themselves. You know what I mean? There's nothing to do with sexuality, but it is just about creating a really comfortable space.
And it is a great space. I mean, we've used it for the business club. So we had our patrons dinner. We were able to kind of utilise the space. And I've got to say, I mean, it's very innovative, very creative what you've done. Yeah. The whole idea that, by day you've got the Inizio and Izio. I've said it both ways now, so no one can complain.
Yeah.
You've got the hair business. And then at night, you move stuff across, and we had the chat at the patrons dinner, and you went, well, it's just what we do. But for an outsider looking at it, you go, that's really creative what you've done with that space.
The whole space is really creative. It's like the art class that's taking place in September. We do that like every month. When when that artist arrived, she's like, I love this space because it just really is creative. I'm a creative person. So we had the architect in the building the other day, again, the guy that designed it in the first place. And he looked at it and he went, I might have done the architecture, he says, but I didn't do the interior. He says, that's what you guys have done. And I love having that kind of freedom to be able to go, I don't want to decorate the ceiling. What do I want to do events-wise? It's an outlet. So it's a really positive outlet. And people love it.
No, and it's a great space. I suppose in addition to that, we talked about the other side of your business, which some people may or may not know about. So I suppose, can you give us a bit of a kind of background on, I guess, the other part of what you do?
So the job that actually pays me, my proper job, as I call it, is I'm a psychotherapist and corporate wellness coach. So psychotherapy is just another form of counselling. I work with people that are depressed and anxious and just a little bit lost in life, just need some space where they can kind of unpack stuff. And the business stuff is more or less the same as I do in psychotherapy, but on a bigger scale. So I work with businesses from teams of 2 to 200. If we have a team of people that aren't mentally well and healthy, then our business isn't mentally well. It isn't well. It just isn't. It's never gonna thrive in the way. It's like I was working with an elite athlete yesterday, and if that elite athlete decided that he was going to run with an injured ankle, he wouldn't do well in that race. So he's going to step back and he's going to get repaired. It's so important. And Michael, I'm looking at you now. You'll know that. You'll know how important it is to be mentally present in a business and well.
Absolutely. I was thinking you were thinking of me as an elite athlete.
I was thinking the same.
But look, Kevin, you're absolutely right. That whole, we give people skills training. We work on them. Can they use the computer? Can they sort of make the phone calls?
Or the practical stuff.
The practical stuff. But actually, if they turn up for work with a lot of baggage that's going on in their life, which happens because we're not
because
computers.
That's life.
Yeah, exactly. We can't switch off our problems at home or our problems with other issues. It affects people's performance. And we don't spend enough time talking about it, and we don't spend enough time actually trying to help people in that area.
No. It's just so important. I was working with a mum yesterday. She's not from the area, so I think I can say this. And we were talking about something, and all of a sudden she felt really guilty for something that happened, and I went, it wasn't her fault. The thing that happened, somebody took ill and got took into hospital, and I went, that wasn't your fault. I says, that's what I call life. That life happens. So when we employ people, they have lives, things happen to them, but it is important for us as employers to be able to help them manage that and give them the skills. I mean, part of what I do is it's almost like training people. This is mental health. This is how we manage it. We all experience it. So let's take it by the horns and manage it and not let it manage us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, great stuff. And then, of course, at the weekend, you can let your hair down and have some fun and smile at Not My Monkey.
Absolutely, yeah. The two sides of my life.
Well, a bit like Not My Monkey, you can kind of split it across and move it as and when you need to. No, that's great. And I guess the whole point of this podcast and having committee members on is to give people that are listening just a bit of an insight into who we are, because we've got lives behind the scenes, like you say. And, it's great for people to kind of, find out a little bit more about us from a personality point of view. So, no, thank you very much. And thank you, I guess, first and foremost, for encouraging me for stepping forward as the chair and all the kind of feedback that you gave me, and also for staying on board as a committee member and all the support you give. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's worth remembering that Kevin actually was the chair through the post-COVID period. And did a lot of work to ensure.
So nothing was normal at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the work he did to help the club sort of maintain itself through that, but also get back to where we are today.
Yeah.
We should never forget that. When we look at the history of the club, that was a time that we'll all remember for the good and bad reasons. But Kevin was a key sort of chair at that time. So as a business club, we should always remember that and be grateful for the work he did.
Absolutely, and helping us head into that 24th year.
Yeah, it was an interesting transition, that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was an interesting time to step in and then go, okay, so what can we do this? Because if you remember, there was a period where we had to get people back into the room.
Yeah, I do.
And we had to put kind of restrictions in place. Then we had to gently ease those off, and there was a lot of psychology in there because we needed people back in the room, and we wanted people back in the room because that's where the most power is. So it was a really interesting period. And I think going back to something you said earlier, Simon, about the music and the walk on music, for me in that period it was about making it more lighter. I didn't want to wear a suit, I didn't want to wear a tie, I wanted to wear something more casual because I wanted people to feel casual in that, less stuffy in that environment. There's nothing wrong with shirts and ties, but I wanted people to feel relaxed and able to come in. And for me, that's when we do the best business.
Yeah, absolutely. And Les actually... Les, sorry, Kevin.
People do that all the time. Yes, we're two men.
Kevin promoted me to being the doorman during that period.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that was the start of my journey to being the man.
Was I
on
responsible?
The door.
I'm pretty sure you stepped forward.
No, you said who would like to, and everybody else stepped back, and I stepped forward.
You wanted to wear a tabard.
Yeah,
I don't think you stepped forward. We just stepped back.
Yeah,
two steps, and it looked like you stepped forward.
Yeah.
And you still do that today now at the YMCA. We've evolved it to car park attendant now, which you do a fantastic job of. Very qualified
you just
car
like
park
wearing
attendant.
The tabard.
I do. I'm still waiting for the sash.
That was promised. But no, thank you very much, Kevin. Like I say, really appreciate everything you do. And to add to the stuff that you do, what's next on the agenda, Michael?
Well, we're delighted that Kevin has agreed to
support me
and support you, Simon, in our business show big quiz.
The Quizness.
Yeah, where's Daniel for the song?
We're working on that, so Phil's going to work on that jingle for us.
Okay, so we've got 2 questions today.
Just 2?
Only 2.
Can I just put a caveat out? Just because I'm a businessman that has like 4 businesses under his belt, I don't follow business information whatsoever.
That's fine.
It's fine. I think
I go on feeling.
I've provided lots of caveats to these questions. Michael will still try and find a way to just catch us out.
The whole point of this is not to embarrass Simon for the avoidance of doubt.
Okay. So you're going to embarrass me instead?
No. It's about
business awareness.
But then also what the impact and what you should be thinking about if you're a business owner.
Okay.
So is there anything that this can impact on you?
Go for it.
So question number 1. What has fallen for the first time in 3 years last month?
Inflation. No.
I
thought it had.
Inflation's been falling for quite a while.
My weight, actually, I've done quite a lot of exercise over August. We've been
we can see that, Simon. And,
thanks. No, I'm wearing darker clothes, so you can't tell. What's fallen? My pen just fell.
No.
Interest?
No.
It's, what's fallen? This is a bit where Michael then. What's fallen? The number of I tell you what, the number of job vacancies, they've fallen. The number of houses on the market at the moment, that's fallen.
Right. Okay. That's good information. Is it the first time in 3 years that they've fallen?
Ooh.
No, you're going to have to help us out, I think, here, Michael.
Okay, so first time in 3 years, shop prices have fallen.
As in the price that you pay for product?
Price. Right. So the British Retail Consortium said that prices fell by 0.3% from a year ago.
So that's why I didn't notice it.
Interesting, the drop in prices was driven by non-food goods.
Okay.
So clothing, furniture with discounts, because obviously the wet weather in the early part of the summer meant that people weren't buying those items. Food prices continued to rise, so although... Yeah. So if you're going to your local supermarket, you won't have felt that. But yeah, so we've seen that shop prices, and I think from an industry perspective, from retailers we were talking about before, most of the retailers we know are non-food retailers, and therefore from their perspective, the pressure on pricing is always there. And trying to get that right balance of your pricing that your customers will pay versus what it's costing you to buy, and all of those things is so important. So from a consumer perspective, we're just seeing a bit of leveling out. It'll still be high, but it's coming down. So and from a retailer's perspective, how are you making sure that that's not affecting your profits?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Was that a question for me?
No.
Oh, good.
Okay, question number 2. On a more positive note, the UK economy grew by 0.6% in the quarter, April to June, which is the latest sort of figures that they use. As we were just saying about the shop prices, not everything's positive. So I've got 5 different sectors here. Which of these have grown and which have shrunk during that period? Okay, so I'll start with scientific research. So has scientific research grown or declined in the quarter?
I'm going to say grown. I'm optimistic. I hope that it has.
I agree.
Correct. Yeah. So there's been more scientific research,
Okay.
which is part of the investment in things being different in the country. Manufacturing.
I'm going to go decrease.
I mean, there's lots that it can include, but yeah, let's go decrease.
Correct. 2 out of 2. It's a good job you've got Kevin here.
I know.
Legal services.
For the people that we know that work in that sector, it'd be great if it has increased, but
I think increase.
we're going increase? Legal? Yeah, let's go legal. Yeah, that's. I guess I'm going with some of the changes in potentially from a political point of view that people have had to jump onto as well. So yeah, let's go increase.
Correct. Legal services have increased. Construction.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Good. I'm glad there's one tough one. You're getting these far too easily.
My immediate answer was increase.
My immediate answer was probably decrease, but actually, again, thinking about some of the pressures that the country's under, I'd say increase.
No, it's decreased.
It's decrease.
And actually, some of that is driven. I've got a bit of insight from some of the company I work with that around as soon as the election, that's the word I'm looking for, election was announced, all government contracts and what have you that were pulled or put on hold.
Paused.
And if you think about what's happened since, I mean, this runs from April to June, so it's actually but that started straight away that there was any new contracts that hadn't actually started put on hold.
Yeah. Okay.
So there was quite a bit of slowdown during that period.
Did I get that one right?
Yeah.
Just wanted to mark that one there.
No, you said increase.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. And he said decrease.
I said decrease to start, and then I was.
You're playing with my mind.
I was influenced by Kevin there.
Kevin plays with my mind. There you go. And the final one, IT services.
Ooh. I mean, based on all the shenanigans that happened when we last spoke, I think on a podcast, with lots of stuff falling apart.
I'm going to go increase.
Yeah, let's go increase.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, 4 out of 5.
That's not bad.
I think we deserve a goodie bag or something now, Kevin. But
I think what you see there is service industry has continued to be buoyant through those sectors, and it's the manufacturing, the construction, those areas which are getting the pressure.
Interesting stuff.
So
and affects lots of different businesses.
Lots of different businesses.
Lots of people that we work with
in and around Newark, especially.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of both construction and manufacturing businesses still in our good old town, but we also have a lot of services. So.
Everything's survivable as long as you think outside the box.
As long as you keep developing, and we were talking about AI earlier and what have you. So there's lots of areas.
You've got to stay with it. You've got to stay with it, and you've got to think differently as well. You've got to do when we were developing Not My Monkey. In my head was, what's the point of difference?
Yeah.
It was always that. Choose a cup. What's the point of difference? Choose a cake. What's the point of difference? That was the one question, and still is actually. What's the point of difference? What makes us different?
But coming back to, I guess the psychotherapy piece as well. It's that kind of positive mindset as well. I mean, we can all go to work and be negative one day, and actually that's not going to have any kind of positive impact on the work that you produce. We can, as some of the guys in my office always say, turn that frown upside down. But you've got a choice, haven't you? I guess it is a choice of, can we do something different? Yeah. Can we make that change? And I guess, it's great to see what you're doing with Not My Monkey, and you're actively going, look, if we've not had a busy week, what do we do about it? Yeah. If that's not selling, what do we change about it? And that's what you've got to do.
That's a lesson. That little nugget there is a lesson that we.
You don't sell nuggets, do you?
We don't do chicken nuggets now. But everything like that is, you have to, if we hold an event and it's not busy, we have to look at it and go, it's not, oh my God, it wasn't very busy. It's
drains up.
What can we do? Yeah. You reflect on it and you go, what can we do differently next time?
Yep.
So it doesn't happen again. But that positivity in businesses is so powerful. A little bit of psychology for you. Naturally, our brains are tilted towards the negative, and the reason they're tilted towards the negative is to protect us.
Okay,
we're always on the lookout for something going wrong. So we then have to consciously pull it back to a balance, or even kind of shift it over to a positive. But we have to do that consciously. It doesn't happen naturally. And for some people, depending on kind of childhood experiences, that tilt can be even further. So, we come across people that are they're very negative people. That's because of stuff that's happened to them in the past. And the tilt has just gotten more increased. So we have to consciously think about it.
That's really powerful and really important. I think it's seven negative emotions and 2 positive or something.
Yeah. So when we give feedback, it's really important that you give I don't know, if you give 6 pieces of feedback, only 2 of those were learning points. So I don't call them negatives; they're learning points. Mm-hmm. The others are, we talk about the poo sandwich. That's not even a great balance. It has to be 4 against 2.
Okay.
To even get close to that person feeling it in a productive way.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I like the insights.
It is.
No. We could do a whole podcast, Michael.
Well, maybe invite Kevin back again. That was fantastic. And he helped you win the quiz this time, which is unusual.
Yeah, all the credits to Kevin.
Your face there.
No, thank you very much, Kevin. Like I said earlier on, we do really appreciate all the work and support that you give to the committee, and again the insights.
My pleasure.
And it's fantastic to have you on the podcast. So thank you so much for joining us.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, Kevin. All the best. That was great to have that time with Kevin. He great for the business club and a great local business owner as well. So. Good to see, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to grants for you, which are provided as ever by Will Parkinson from Newark and Sherwood District Council, which we're grateful for.
Thank you, Will.
And these are grants that are available for local businesses. So if any of these are of interest or you think you qualify, please contact Will. And if none of them do, that doesn't matter. Please contact Will because he's got the supercomputer of grants, so he can plug in all your details and come up with any grants that are available at this moment for you. So this month we've got 3, as I say. So the first one is a business boost for small businesses. Its support is available from Simply Business to help UK entrepreneurs launch a new business or to enable an existing SME to flourish. The funding pot is a competition designed to help small businesses bounce back from economic challenges, boost the chances of new startups. The winner will be awarded £25,000.
Wow.
The competition is open to UK resident entrepreneurs, business people aged 18 and over. Businesses must have begun trading to be eligible, and the deadline for applications is the 15th of October. The judges are looking for an innovative idea which has positive social impact and thought-out business plan.
Excellent. Very interesting.
If you fall into that area, please contact Will. Second one is from D2N2, which is an early stage angel investment fund. They've got an £8 million fund provided by D2N2, Local Enterprise Partnership, and Hatch, intended to help early stage businesses in the region to grow and develop. The fund intends to drive sustainable economic growth by supporting businesses in achieving net zero or low carbon strategic outcomes. To be eligible, you must have been trading for 6 to 24 months, based in Nottinghamshire or Derbyshire, and be able to demonstrate ESG credentials. So,
very different grant, but
absolutely
fantastic.
Absolutely. And the final one is the UK Shared Prosperity Fund Business Accelerator Programme.
Try and make these as complicated as they can for you to say, yeah.
And I'm reading it. I'm not even remembering it. This is a business support scheme for businesses across Newark and Sherwood to reduce their energy costs, become more sustainable, and develop innovative skills. The support includes one-to-one advice, workshops, energy audits, and growth vouchers of up to £2,000, and joining a fee subsidy of up to $750 to the Help to Grow management course. The scheme's being developed by the East Midlands Chamber with funding from UK Shared Prosperity, and the project has been running for a while but is due to conclude March next year, so still plenty of time to apply. So that's obviously, again, there's a couple there that are focusing on sustainability and reducing energy costs, which is both good for business and good for the environment, which is important.
Brilliant. Well, thank you again to Will. We did actually see Will not long ago, and we discussed the idea of maybe him coming on at some point and actually giving us those grants. So it might help if you're struggling to sustain them at some point. But no, it'd be good to obviously see Will at some point. But no, thank you to Will and obviously the Economic Growth team at Newark and Sherwood District Council for that information and the grants from the supercomputer.
Absolutely. So next on our agenda is Who Gives a Book?
Who gives a book? Well, we gave a book. We gave a book last month at the meeting, and it was Adam Grant's Give and Take. So the idea is that he categorises everyone in this world as givers, takers, or matchers, with the idea that givers often achieve extraordinary results. If you're a giver, then the idea is that you can build broader networks, establish stronger relationships, and create positive reputations. So the idea is, though, that you need to balance this out, because if you give all the time, actually you'll burn yourself out. So it's about strategic giving. But again, the idea being here that adopting a positive mindset, demonstrating how this approach to giving creates a meaningful connection, fosters innovation, and leads to sustainable success. So what we're basically saying is you can take all the time, but actually you're not going to foster those relationships and build networks around you. By giving, it might take a bit longer, but actually it's going to be more sustainable along the way. So it was a good book, and we gave that away last month. That was won by Paul Chadbourne from Radio Newark 107.8 FM, actually. So we've got another book to give. In fact, we've got 2 books to give away this month. So we won't tell you anything about that now, but you will hear about that at the September meeting.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. And that's interesting about the giver-taker matching piece. And I'm sure if everybody who's listening thinks about people in their business world and those that are takers, those that are givers, and who's more successful, just think about that.
Indeed. Very powerful.
So just before we get our patrons on, just want to mention the next Action and Retail Group meeting is on the 23rd of September. We've had a bit of a summer break, partly because I've been at Taylor Swift shaking it off. But
How many times have you seen Taylor?
I only saw her once.
Oh, okay.
I only saw her once. Don't talk about my daughter. But yeah, so even through that, I've had some conversations with local business who's got some challenges and wanted just a bit of insight and support with the council, which is exactly what we're here for.
Sure.
You know, bringing the different people together, talking about what's going on and how they can find resolutions. So
a conduit,
absolutely. So, but the next meeting, 23rd of September at the Organ Grinder. So hopefully see some people there.
Excellent.
Delighted to welcome our patron sponsors this month. We've got Ellen and Jack from Reflect Recruitment. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
No, so thank you first and foremost for being a patron sponsor of Newark Business Club. Appreciate you guys being on board. And I suppose, as part of that, we're keen to get all of the patron sponsors onto the podcast to give us a bit of an insight into not only the business, but a bit more about you guys as well. So I suppose first and foremost, can you give us a bit of an overview about Reflect Recruitment Group?
Sure. I mean, sort of the first thing would be, okay, we cover different sectors: hospitality, commercial, industrial. So Ellen does commercial.
Okay.
So obviously sales, admin roles.
Yep.
And I do industrial roles, which
Okay.
would be warehouse, factory, anything away from a desk, pretty much.
Okay.
We've got 3 offices: one in Grantham, one in Newark, and one in Lincoln.
Yep.
So we do cover quite a wide range of Nottinghamshire and Lincolnshire. And I suppose the aim of Reflect is to become an extension of someone's business, so we can best understand their needs and get them someone that is suitable.
Fantastic. No, great stuff. And of course, I guess with a recruitment background myself, can't speak properly, I guess we can talk a little bit about that. But I suppose I was quite interested from our side on maybe how you guys got into the world of recruitment. So I guess maybe Ellen first.
Yeah.
How did you get into Reflect and how did that journey start?
I've always been in an environment around people. So I actually was in hospitality to start with. So it's always, delivering a service.
Yep.
Always building those relationships and then getting results from those.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just when the opportunity came up, I was just ready to get into a commercial environment.
Great stuff.
Reflect obviously came up, the opportunity was there, and here I am now, 18 months in and not looking back really. Started on the temp desk.
Yep. Good place to start.
Exactly.
Fast paced.
Well, exactly. I mean, hospitality is fast paced,
Sure.
so I think the link was there anyway. And then it just comes natural, I guess. Building those relationships. So recently have just taken over the perm side as well, so I'm doing a bit of both temp and perm, which is really nice. Yeah.
What part of hospitality were you in?
I was waitressing.
Excellent.
Yes. So do you know in Farndon, when it was Farndon Boathouse?
Yeah.
I was there.
Excellent. So my background's hospitality, catering. Right back
nice.
in, that was when I was out of college, went and trained in that environment and worked there for a while. So
if you ever get to sit with Mike at an award ceremony, then he is brilliant at silver service. He gets his spoon and fork out, and that's it.
He's
in his element.
It's a bit of a showstopper.
It is, well, once you've got the act, it's
exactly
easy.
Exactly.
It's brilliant.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's on his way around to our house at some point soon.
Lovely. Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Steady.
Okay. Right, now we've got an idea. We'll tempt you. And I suppose, Jack, as well, over to you. So how did you get involved in recruitment?
So I actually used to be an agency worker.
Okay.
Through initially my colleague Paul, doing hospitality and factory work. And I remember being on a shift with Paul actually, doing hospitality, and I was just curious, how's recruitment work, like asking him questions. And he did explain it quite well actually, which that got me interested. It made me always think, do I want to go into recruitment? And I'd always wanted to get into commercial roles, so I think it came to the point where I then spoke to my colleague Sarah, who works in the grant from office, about any sort of commercial role she's got, and then obviously she would deal with it very professionally, see what I've got, what I'm interested in, what available roles there are for me to go for. And I think the way they dealt with me made me want to do that.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So that's what made me want to go into recruitment.
I want to get involved.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
So.
And you want to deliver the same stuff for other people. No? Sounds good. And it's often the way. I think, again, being involved in a recruitment business, I think, having a balance of different people from different environments, you don't go and learn recruitment at school. There's different elements that you bring into that. And again, certainly in our office, you've got different people from events and hospitality. Yeah. You've got people from clerical and operational backgrounds. And it's bringing different skills together, because I think, we'd certainly always say recruitment is a multifaceted role. You've got so many different skills and different things that you need to pull on. So, interesting to hear how you guys got involved. We were talking briefly earlier, and this is a conversation Michael and I have had on the podcast before about kind of technology, AI. I guess from your perspective, how do you feel maybe AI and automation is going to affect the recruitment industry moving forwards?
I think when you first think about it, you think it's going to take all the factory jobs, don't you?
Yeah.
Initially. But I think the way it started, it's being all the top-end jobs that are going. So, for example, creative design designers, you can go onto AI and just draw me a picture of whatever, and it will do it in seconds. So there's no point to now spend how much money you would on a designer. You could just go on Google and get a million photos just like that. So I think it's actually sort of those top-end jobs that are a bit more scary.
Okay.
And I think...
But I guess we were also talking about that kind of human element that you can't take out. So I know, I mean, certainly automation and AI in the recruitment process itself, we were talking about the idea that if something can speed up a process, if you've got a tool that can look through some CVs, or if you've got a tool that can format a CV, whatever it might be, that's great. But actually, it's you guys that are interviewing people that you can't get a computer to do that. No, well, you probably can, but it won't do it the same way. You can't... careful what I'm saying, look in people's eyes, but that you get a feel for people, don't you? Someone telling you the truth. Have they done that in their job? Are they making something up? Are they elaborating something? And I get, certainly in recruitment, you want to make sure that, if you're putting someone forward for a job, they're going to turn up for that job, that they're going to be at the interview, that they're going to stay in that job for a long time. So I guess, certainly from my side, and I know we've chatted about it, Michael, AI and tech, you've got a balance, you've got to be careful with it. And I guess coming back to your graphic design example, that's great, but actually when you get to the end of it, you still need someone to be presenting that work to you. So I mean, I certainly see it as a balance, and I think it's going to be an interesting time over the next few years, where businesses utilize that technology but then they still need you, to actually talk to the client, to take a client brief, all of those things that we do on a kind of daily basis.
Yeah, no, exactly. Keeps you sane, I guess.
Absolutely. And I guess, for me and certainly, thinking about a recruitment perspective, I think it's the variance, it's different stuff. I think you touched on it earlier on, but, having, different stuff happening each day, different industries that you work with, different clients that you deal with, different candidates that you deal with, it makes the day interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No 2 days are the same.
No 2 days the same. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. What would you say? In fact, what did I say earlier? What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
So the advice I thought of was actually something my dad said to me.
Okay.
It's sort of one of those things, because I'm an overthinker.
Yep.
I think obviously my dad knows that, and I'll be like, "Oh, Dad, I don't know whether to do it." Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And he'll go, "Jack, just get on with it." And the best advice I've got is just get on with it.
Yep.
Stop thinking.
Just get on with it.
Just deal with it.
Yep.
Just get on with it. And I think it does. If you break that out of your head and you just get on with it, you're more likely just to do it, to be more productive.
Yeah. Well, and there are, I guess, if you think about that, there's a couple of people that have said similar things. I think Mark Zuckerberg, when he was talking about developing Facebook, said just get done and just move on. If you're going to try and create a product that's 100% correct, you never release a product. You need to get it out, you need to test it, you just need to get stuff done. And Richard Branson talks about the idea of if an opportunity comes up, say yes and figure out how to do it later on, get stuff done. But I like the idea of that, kind of create momentum, crack on with it, and get stuff done. That's it. We need to
absolutely, that's a really good piece of advice. So absolutely. Don't overthink it, for certain.
Yeah.
Good. In terms of the business club, so we're always great to see you. You're pretty much at every meeting, which is fantastic. Reflect have been partners, patrons now since for the last 2 years, and been very much involved for a long time before that. What do you think of the business club? How do you think it helps your business?
I actually, because obviously I was at the business club with Kevin when he was doing it. And I just...
Don't say you prefer Kevin.
Go on,
well,
say it.
The way my experience has been with it is actually the community is so strong.
Sure.
I've never actually seen such a strong community. I don't know what it is, but everyone has got their opinion. They're happy to bring it forward.
Yeah.
I remember it was... there was this, I can't remember her name, but it was an officer from the police. And I just remember that everyone in the room just going for it. Just like, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Was that the police and crime?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, okay.
And that was, I just remember thinking from that, wow, actually everyone's so interlinked and they care so much about the local environment, everything.
I mean, we have talking to Kevin Gutherie earlier on, working very closely with Michael from an action group point of view. But you've got people that care about Newark, the surrounding area, the growth of Newark. And you're right. I mean, there are so many passionate people in that room. There are people that love networking far more than I do at 7 o'clock in the morning. But it is great to see people kind of so inspired to share their knowledge, to share information. And I suppose that's the bit, we talk about it all the time, but collaboration is key. And I think, we touched on it with Kevin about the kind of COVID piece, but actually at that time, people still came together, whether it was online in a different format, but people still supported each other. I know, Michael, you were working with lots of the business club businesses as well. But I guess it's sharing information. It's knowing that if you've got an issue, you're probably going to be sat on a table with 8-10 other people, and you can probably ask someone's opinion and maybe get some decent feedback on it as well. So no, it's really good to hear, and glad to hear that you've got a kind of such a positive kind of experience from it.
Absolutely. So in terms of sort of looking forward, what are the things that you're hoping to achieve in the next 6-12 months? Where are you?
For Reflect.
Reflect and from personal.
Good question.
That is a good question.
I know.
The interviewer turns interviewer.
Well, I know. Look, we're going to set up another office. It's still on the table.
Excellent. That's good news.
Yeah. So I know that. I don't know what also the plans.
What
Keep
about, for
being
you?
busy.
What about for you? What are your? Obviously, you didn't get Oasis tickets.
No.
It's a touchy subject.
Is it right?
Just got to roll with that, Michael. Come on.
God, that's a good question, isn't it?
In the words of your dad, just do it.
Yeah, just do it. But I don't know. I'm always trying to improve on myself, confidence,
Good.
everything like personal development. So
Good.
that would be my
Yeah.
my go-to. I
And
think.
are you going to? Are you on stage at the business club in a few months' time when it's Reflect's patron session?
No,
That's me.
Oh, is that
Sorry.
Ellen?
Well, we had Jack last
Yeah.
year.
Jack was
Yeah.
last
So
year,
we
who
got
did a
to hear from you.
sterling job.
Yes,
A little bit
absolutely.
nervous as we all are before we
Yeah,
stand
sure.
up. So, well, except for you, Simon, obviously.
Yeah, it's taken some time. Taking some time.
Oh, excellent! So we're looking forward to seeing you on
Yes,
stage.
that will be me.
Perfect. And what about yourself, Ellen? What's any plans? Anything you're looking to achieve?
I think it's just still trying to get my name out there. I mean, I'm still very new to the whole recruitment world, I
Yeah.
guess. So I think making sure people know it's me behind the phone. So
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
out there, just networking or
Brilliant.
just socialising in general, really. And like Jack said, just personal development and just
That's good.
getting on with it, I guess.
As we
Brilliant.
say at the business club, people buy from people.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
And
Exactly.
yeah, I think again, personal brand is so important. It's
Yes.
great for
Yeah.
people to know who they're working with. So no, and I guess from a listener's point of view, listeners, if they want to get hold of you guys, how do they get hold of you?
Well, all our socials are LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't think we've got Instagram, but
No,
might be
we've got
something
Twitter, I
to...
think.
To work on?
Yes,
No
we've got
TikTok
Twitter.
dancing.
Oh gosh, no. It's not great.
No.
But no, I think we've all got our own individual pages,
Okay. Well-
and also a work.
And it's Ellen Rayworth and Jack Clark.
It is,
Yeah.
yes.
Just so people can.
Great,
find
and
you.
we'll tag you guys into the post that we get out as well,
Oh, nice.
and get that onto the Newark Business Club socials. So I guess from our point of view, we've got a couple of other bits to talk about, but yeah, it's very much a thank you, massive thank you for
No,
being a
thank
patron
you
sponsor for the last couple of years, and of course Cameron, who owns Reflect Recruitment Group, sat on the committee for the business club for a number of years, and I've got to say was a brilliant person for me to work with. Having known him professionally for a long time as well, he was always one of those people who I knew I could go and get some sound advice from.
Yeah.
I could just go, right, what do you think? And he was
Yeah.
always just going to probably stop, think about it, and give me some really good advice. So no, it's a thank you to Cameron as well.
Yeah, and thanks to you guys, and these things are a little bit daunting. We know that it's easy for us, having done them a few times, but the first time is always a bit difficult. But thanks for coming along.
No,
Thank you.
our
Sit back
pleasure.
for the next few minutes while we close off, and we appreciate you joining us.
Marvellous.
Thank you for inviting
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, Simon, we just need to touch on last month's meetings, just what went on at the start of August, all those weeks ago when the
I
summer
know, it
was,
feels
summer
like
was
ages
ahead of
ago,
us.
but then actually, lots has happened between them. But the August meeting, the sun was shining. We had Megan from Nexus Fostering, who I think we saw her last year as well before. So she came and talked to us about some of the stuff that's happening in their world, which was great to hear. The patron sponsor that we had talking was Motifinity, and they used that opportunity to talk about an initiative and a project that they're working on called Paying It Forward, a veteran story, the Remembrance 2024 exhibition, and that's working with local photographer Paul Saxby, who's
Okay.
got a brilliant background. You can go and kind of see some of the wonderful stuff that he's done, touring the world, taking photos, working in the military, I believe. But that is going to be showcased in the Butter Market from the 5th to the 14th of November. So a great initiative, and it's a community-based photography project that you can get involved with. So that was good to hear. We gave the book away, so the Adam Grant book that I mentioned, that went to Paul Chadbourne from Radio Newark. We had the Action Group update, and that was from Crete,
It was.
although started at Northgate Station.
It did.
So that was great to see you. And then we had Ros Andrews write everything up for us on the website as normal. So thank you again to Ros. So yeah, we had an action-packed meeting, and we're heading towards September's meeting now.
Yeah, hopefully some people are listening to this while they're driving into the
Focus on the driving,
Absolutely.
or cycling. Some people might be cycling, Michael,
Indeed, yeah, I think I am this week. Yeah.
while the weather's still good.
So what have we got to look forward to? Who's sponsoring this month?
September's meeting, we've got the team from Inspire Adult Learning, so you can learn about some of the extracurricular work that you could do, some of the courses that they've got going on. We're going to be hearing from one of the other patron sponsors, Radio Newark 107.8 FM, also available on DAB.
And on the app.
And on the app. There's going to be some table networking as always. We have the Charity of the Quarter presentation. So you're going to hear from 3 charities. We've got Home Start, we've got the Newark Patriotic Fund, and we've got Newark Youth Trust. And I think we might have a couple of surprises with that as well coming up. We've got the Action and Retail Group update. So I think we're going to be hearing from Kevin this month. Yep. We've got Who Gives a Book. It's actually 2 books this month. So we're going to give those away in the meeting. And then we've got a new member spotlight bit as well. So you will hear more about it in the meeting. But for those that have booked their ticket before a certain time, we're going to put them all into the mix and we're going to pick someone out and they will get 2 minutes in the October meeting to talk to the whole room about their business. So a bit of an extension from the 60-second round the table. This will allow someone to stand up in front of the whole room and just give them a bit more of an idea about who they are and what they do.
Great idea. So really looking forward to that. So that's the end of this month's podcast.
It's great to be back in the studio.
It's brilliant to be back in the studio. It's been fantastic having some time with Kevin, with Ellen, with Jack. And I, finish with some sort of quote, just something that gets people thinking. And I've got something written down, but actually, I want to go back to Jack's dad. Because, Jack, what did your dad say?
Just do it.
There you go. Just do it.
Just do it.
Don't overthink it. Just do it. Great advice.
Spot on.
If you don't just do it, then you regret the things you don't do, not the things you do. So Jack's dad, just do it.
# listen to Jack's dad. No, that is great. No, really good advice, and I really like finishing on that. So I guess all that's left to say is thank you again to Phil and the team at Radio Newark for facilitating this. Like I say, it's great to be back in the studio.
It is.
Great to be doing the Business Show podcast.
All the best.
See you next month.